Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on Sam's Crafted Castle, and today we are continuing on with another Valentine's Day card. So this one is pretty simple honestly, but I think I really love how it came out. So I'm just showing you the sketch and the color palette really quick, and I'm going to show you something else that I normally do off screen but realized I should show it to you. So this is how I set up my iPad for when I'm working and what I have sort of like off screen while I'm working. You can, if you didn't know this about an iPad, and I don't know about other tablets, I've always been an iPad tablet girly, so I don't know if other tablets are the same way, but you can do a split screen, and you can have both things open at the same time. So that's usually what I have off camera, and I set it up, I showed you the full screen images, and then set up the split screen, and was like, I should just show them the split screen. So that's usually what I kind of have sitting off to the side while I'm working on the card, so I can reference back to it and have the sketch and the color palette in front of me the whole time. It's very handy and a really cool little feature if you're like me and do things more digitally like that. The color palette had this kind of green grayish color in there, and if you notice, it is technically like a Christmas color palette, but we're going to turn it into a Valentine's Day. I am working on another video right now, obviously not like right this second because I'm recording this voiceover, but I'm in the middle of another video that I'm filming. I'm waiting to get a few things in the mail to finish it up, and it is a entirely monochromatic color palette that is not a Valentine's Day color at all. And I'm hoping it comes out. We'll see what happens. But still, you can have a lot of fun with colors. And this card I actually think came out really cute. And it actually gives me very strawberry vibes at the end. I have a friend who really, really likes strawberries. And I sent her a picture of this card when I was done and was like, I made this card and it accidentally has strawberry vibes. And so I thought of you. And she wrote me back and was like, yes, you are absolutely right. But this color palette has a sort of greenish gray color to it. It is very, very light. It could even be just like an off-white type of color, but I don't really have much like off-white cardstock that isn't like an ivory or a cream. So I went with more of the gray and this is Simon Says Stamp Fog cardstock because it's just like a really light gray. And I was a little nervous because sometimes, even though it's a very light color, which was obviously going to benefit me here, like, sometimes doing colored inks on a colored cardstock can give you some weird results. And I wasn't super sure how the red would react with the gray. Because these are dye inks, so they essentially, work by dyeing the paper. There's a lot more to it than that. That is a very simplified explanation, but the Gina K Design inks, and I'm using a Tailored Expression ink just because Gina doesn't have a color, this nice cranberry color that I was kind of going for. If I was going to use all of Gina's, though, I would use cherry red instead of mulled wine from Tailored Expressions, but I wanted more of like this cranberry berry kind of feel, so I went with that for my darker color, and then used Red Hot from Gina K Designs for my lighter color. And the stencil, before I forget, is also from Gina K Designs, and it's called Layered Hearts. It's an older stencil, but it's kind of really fun, and was a really, I liked it more than I thought I would, honestly. This was almost in the destash pile last time I did a destash, but I decided to keep it, and I'm really glad I did now. So they're dye inks, and they kind of work by dyeing the paper. So you never know when you're working with them on colored paper exactly how they're going to react with that color that you use. Oh, another side note really quick. I got this incredible foaming brush cleaner from Brutus Monroe, and I've been slowly using it on my brushes because I'm awful at cleaning my brushes. I very rarely actually clean them off between colors. I usually just go on for the next thing. But I got this brush cleaner, and it is made cleaning my brushes so much easier. Now, there's a lot of shoulds and shouldn'ts, I guess. when you're cleaning your brushes, like generally you don't want to wash them with water because sometimes it makes the bristles kind of funky, and sometimes it can even eventually like make them fall apart because they're just like glued into the plastic, and sometimes like that. So I don't know if that's ever going to happen with this brush cleaner. I'm not going to lie to you. I have no idea. That could happen someday. But for right now, I've been using it for a couple weeks, really. I've had it for longer than that, but I've been using it for a couple weeks, and it's made cleaning my brushes a lot easier. Do you need it? Honestly, no. Like you'll be fine without it. Not at all something that I think needs to be on like your essential ink blending supply list by any means. But it does really help me get some of the extra ink out of my brushes, and helps with getting more specifically the colors that you're expecting out of your ink, and you get a little less mixy if if you're using different colors. So that's my thoughts on that. I just wanted to show you that today because of using two different brands of ink. That's usually when I'm a little better, I guess, about cleaning my brushes. And here's another kind of experiment. Like you can kind of see, not really because I kind of filmed it bad, but I don't get like a ton. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me. But you can see I only get a little bit of ink off of it before I spray it with the cleaner, and then once I spray it with the cleaner, like the ink really starts to come out of it. So again, it's personal preference. You can take it or leave it. Like I said, it just makes it a little bit easier for me, and gets them just a little bit cleaner. And like the bristles, especially if you're using the Gina K brushes, the bristles are white. Those won't go back to being white. They're gonna stay stained because, like I was saying with the cardstock, it's a dye ink. It's dyeing the bristles of the brushes, so you won't get all of the color out of the bristles to turn them back white. It just really is to help get the extra ink out of your brush, and hopefully get a little less color mixing and things going on if you're looking for more specifically like the true color of the ink that you're using. So here you can see I finished all the ink blending, and I'm so happy with how this background came out. You're going to be seeing me use this cardstock more often, I think, because I actually really like how the gray came out, and how it looked. So here's a funny story for you. Half this video was missing. It's not really missing as much as I used this love stamp to do this card design, and I started coloring it one way, and I did not like it one little bit. So this is try 2 on this love stamp, because I was trying to watercolor it, and I just wasn't happy with it and how it looked, and I just went, you know what, we're just gonna go for the old standby Copic markers. I think coloring this in with pencils would have been really fun, but I didn't have time for that when I was filming this, and markers are quicker. So I was like, we're just going to color it in with markers, and I had wasted so much time. Not wasted, but I had spent a lot of time attempting to do the watercolor version, and it just wasn't working. So, we made it work. This stamp set is a very, very old Gina K Design stamp set. I'm realizing doing all these Valentine's Day cards, I'm like, all of my Valentine's Day stuff is retired. So I kind of got to get a refresh, I think, going. But this is an old Gina K Design stamp set called Sweet. And it's supposed to be, the stamps are supposed to be a little bit like cookie themed, I guess. Not like you see now. Like I know, like last Christmas, this past holiday season, I saw a lot of cookie themed stamp sets. And that's kind of what this one is supposed to be too. If you look really closely at the stamp, which you're not really going to be able to see that in the video, but there's kind of a little outline area, and then like a little like frostingy bit. But the cookie piece, the not frosting bit, the actual cookie part, is pretty thin, so it's kind of hard to see. And in this case, I was just trying to, I wasn't going for the cookie vibe. I just wanted it to be this sort of like bubble lettery kind of thing. So I'm just taking the darkest green that I had, and well, it's not the darkest green that I had, but the darkest green I was using for this color palette, and did the outlines, and then I'm just using the next color to color in the frosting pieces. And again, just going for kind of a bubble letter look. Also, I didn't talk about it when it happened, but I do have the Color Catalog Color Companion, I think that's right, name for it. I will try to remember to link it down below, which I'm going to do that right after I finish I'm going to do the links right after I finish the voiceover, so hopefully I remember by the time I do that. There's a couple companion books to that will show you in certain coloring mediums the colors that coordinate with the palette. So I just went and looked up 167 because that's the one we were using, and then use that to find the right Copic greens to match the color palette. I also have the Tombow one, and I have the Prismacolor one, because those are the three sort of coloring mediums that I have that they're available for. But there's a lot of other brands too. Like I know Spectrum Noir alcohol markers have one. There's a couple other colored pencil brands that they have, but it is, if you are one who colors a lot, it is really helpful to have as a starting point for choosing your colors. Like sometimes I'll use that to pick like whatever my mid-tone color is and then build my blend as I normally would from there. So like, but it is very handy. So off screen, off camera, I did some die cutting and some embossing because I still haven't quite mastered getting my intercut on screen really nicely, and I wasn't using my mini for this, so I just did that off camera. But I cut the little banner, and then I cut a heart from an old Heffy Doodle die set, and for kicks and giggles, just to add something different, something special, I guess, I embossed the heart, and I really like that look, so I think we're going to be seeing more of that. I've really been in kind of a embossing folder mood kind of thing lately, so I think I'm using an embossing folder on next week's card too. Just, I don't know, that's just, it's been speaking to me recently. So I'm going to just start putting everything together. And the other thing I wanted to say is I also used that same sweet set to stamp that Happy Valentine's Day, but instead of doing it in black like I normally would have, I decided to bring out that red hot ink again and do that, and I really like that, how it added to it being a different color. I don't use my colored inks for greetings and sentiments enough, I don't think, so we're gonna work on that. I also think, as we're just finishing up here, I also think that this stencil would be really fun with like a texture paste on the second layer. I thought of it way after like probably about this point when I was making the card, I thought about it and was like, oh, it would have been really fun to use a texture paste to add a little extra dimension and things to those hearts, but I thought about it too late. But we might have to try that sometime too. I also thought this would be really fun to do a background stamp or stencil over the love. I thought that would be kind of fun. So I had a lot more ideas for this one, and we'll see what I make. I did use foam squares to pop up the heart because it just needed to a little bit. But I'm trying to keep all of my Valentine's Day cards are going in the mail, so I'm trying to keep them not too layery or dimensional or anything like that, so that they can go in the mail really easily. And that is it. That is today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and I'll see you again soon, and have a crafty day.